The doorbell rang at exactly 7:45 a.m., shattering the fragile silence of my cramped Brooklyn apartment. I yanked open the door, coffee mug in hand, expecting the usual harried courier with my weekly grocery haul. But instead, there stood a stranger with eyes like storm clouds over the Hudson. Intense, unyielding, and pulling me in before I could even mutter a hello. "Special delivery," he said with a smirk that didn't quite reach those eyes, handing over a package that wasn't mine. And in that split second, I wondered if fate had just misaddressed my life. His name was Oliver, or so the embroidered patch on his faded blue uniform declared, and he looked nothing like the parade of anonymous faces who'd buzzed in and out of my building over the years. Broad shoulders strained against the fabric, his skin tanned from endless hours under the New York sun, and a faint scar traced his jawline like a whispered secret. I signed for the wrong box anyway, my mind foggy from another sleepless night wrestling with the ghost of my ex, who had left me questioning every connection I'd ever chased. Why did this guy make my pulse stutter? It was ridiculous. I was Ethan, the uptight marketing exec climbing the corporate ladder in a city that devoured dreamers, not some lovesick fool mooning over a delivery man. As he turned to leave, his truck idled at the curb like a beast waiting to pounce, and I called out, "Wait, this isn't mine." He paused, glancing back with a raised eyebrow that screamed amusement. Figures. Boss mixed up the routes again. We exchanged the packages properly this time, our fingers brushing just long enough to send a jolt through me. One I dismissed as static from the dry winter air. But inside, a voice nagged. "What if this is the universe's way of shaking you awake? You've been hiding behind spreadsheets and solitude since Mark walked out, claiming you were too emotionally unavailable." Unavailable? I'd poured everything into that relationship, only to watch it crumble under the weight of his family's disapproval. Whispers of "not traditional enough" echoing in my ears even now. That evening, as rain slicked the streets, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. "Hey, it's Oliver from this morning. Found your wallet in the truck. Must have slipped out during the swap." My heart thudded. How careless could I be? We arranged a meet-up at a corner diner, neutral ground in the chaos of Midtown. Sitting across from him in a booth sticky with syrup remnants, I studied his face under the fluorescent lights. He was older than I'd thought, maybe mid-30s, with laugh lines that suggested a life lived harder than mine. "You seem tense," he observed, sliding my wallet over. "Bad day." I laughed it off, but internally, turmoil brewed. Why open up to a stranger? Yet words tumbled out. The promotion I was gunning for, the isolation of being gay in a family that pretended it was a phase, the fear that love was just another transaction in this cutthroat city. Oliver listened, really listened, his gaze steady as he shared snippets of his own world. Divorced dad scraping by on delivery gigs after losing his construction job in the recession, fighting for custody of a son who barely knew him. "People see the uniform and think that's all I am," he said softly, stirring his black coffee. "But there's more under the surface, you know?" His words hit like a punch to the gut. Wasn't that my story too? Masking vulnerability with ambition, afraid that revealing the real me would shatter everything. As we parted ways under the neon glow, a seed of doubt planted itself. Could this random encounter be more than coincidence? Or was I projecting my loneliness onto the first kind face in months? The next week blurred into deliveries that felt less routine. Oliver started timing his drops to coincide with my lunch breaks, lingering for chats that stretched longer each time. We'd debate everything from politics to pizza toppings, his conservative upbringing clashing with my liberal views in ways that sparked fire but never malice. "You think society's too quick to label people?" he asked one afternoon, leaning against his truck. I nodded, heart racing. Inside, I battled. This is dangerous. He's straight, probably, with a kid and an ex-wife. But his touches, accidental brushes, a hand on my shoulder, lingered in my thoughts, fueling nights of restless what-ifs. What if I'm reading it wrong? What if pursuing this costs me the fragile stability I've built? One rainy Friday, my car broke down en route to a crucial client meeting in upstate New York. Desperate, I texted Oliver on a whim. "Need a ride?" "Truck's got space," he replied almost instantly. Grateful. I climbed in, the cab smelling of leather and faint cologne. As we merged onto the highway, traffic snarled into a standstill, construction, accidents, the works. Hours ticked by, turning a quick trip into an eternity. Trapped in that confined space, conversations deepened. He confessed his marriage had been a facade, a desperate attempt to fit the mold his small-town family expected. I loved her in a way, but it wasn't, right? His voice cracked, and I felt the weight of unspoken truths. My own admissions followed. The bullying in high school for being different. The corporate world where being out meant navigating minefields of prejudice. As dusk fell, the road cleared, but something shifted between us. His hand grazed mine on the gearshift, and this time, neither pulled away. Panic surged. Society's voices screamed in my head. This is taboo. A delivery guy and a suit? What about his kid? But the pull was undeniable. A trembling in my chest that whispered possibility. By the time we arrived, exhaustion mingled with exhilaration. Thanks for the ride, I said, voice thick. He smiled. Anytime, Ethan. Walking away, I wondered, is this the start of something real, or just another illusion? The following days amplified the chaos in my mind. Each delivery from Oliver feeling like a lifeline tossed into a stormy sea. I'd catch myself staring at my phone, willing it to light up with his name, only to berate myself seconds later. You're delusional, Ethan. He's got baggage. A son. An ex. A life rooted in blue-collar grit that clashes with your polished world. Yet, when he showed up with my packages, his easy grin dismantled my defenses. Missed our chats, he'd say, and I'd feel that tremble again. A vibration in my soul that no amount of logic could silence. One evening, after a grueling day dodging passive-aggressive emails from colleagues who whispered about my lifestyle behind closed doors, I invited him in for coffee. The apartment felt smaller with him in it, his presence filling the voids I'd ignored for too long. We sat on the couch, knees almost touching, as he opened up about his boy, Jamie. 8 years old, full of questions about why Dad wasn't home anymore. The divorce wrecked him, Oliver admitted, eyes distant. And me? I was playing a role, pretending to be the straight-arrow family man. But inside, it was killing me. His confession hung heavy, mirroring my own hidden battles. I'd buried my desires under layers of achievement, fearing rejection from a society that still viewed men like us as anomalies. As the night wore on, vulnerability cracked open wider. I shared how Mark's family had shunned us, calling our love unnatural. How it left scars that made trusting anyone feel like Russian roulette. Oliver nodded, his hand finding mine in a grip that was tentative yet firm. I felt that pull too, he whispered. With guys, I mean, but I shoved it down. Married young to prove I was normal. The air thickened with unspoken implications. Was this admission a bridge or a bomb? My heart pounded. What if this destroys us both? Society's judgments loomed. Custody battles tainted by homophobia. Careers derailed by scandals. But in that moment, the connection felt raw, real. We didn't kiss. It wasn't time. Instead, we talked until dawn, dissecting the prejudices that bound us. He spoke of his conservative parents, who preached traditional values while ignoring his pain. I countered with tales of corporate diversity seminars that rang hollow, masks for underlying bias. The conversation turned heated when politics entered. His lingering support for policies I deemed regressive, clashing with my advocacy for LGBTQ rights. You think change happens overnight? He challenged, voice rising. In my world, coming out means losing everything. I fired back. And staying hidden means losing yourself. The tension crackled, but beneath it, respect grew. A drama unfolding in quiet revelations. Soon, our rides became ritual. He'd pick me up for weekend drives, escaping the city's clamor to rural roads where we could breathe. One such trip to the Catskills amplified the internal storm. As leaves rustled underfoot during a hike, he stopped, turning to me with eyes full of conflict. Ethan, it's messing with my head. My stomach dropped. Was this the end? Inside, I screamed, "Don't pull away now. I finally found someone who sees me." But aloud, I asked, "What are you afraid of?" He paced, confessing fears of Jamie's reaction, of societal backlash in his working-class circles where gay was still a slur. The argument escalated, voices echoing through the trees. "You act like your world's the only one that matters," I accused, frustration boiling from years of suppression. He shot back, "And you think privilege shields you? Try explaining this to a kid who's already lost his family unit." Tears stung my eyes, not from anger, but from the ache of understanding his torment. We sat in silence afterward, the weight of our choices pressing down. Driving back, his hand found mine again, a silent apology. But doubt festered. Can love survive these divides? Or are we doomed to repeat the patterns that broke us before? Word spread subtly at work, colleagues noticing my distracted smiles, whispering about the delivery guy lingering too long. One afternoon, my boss pulled me aside. "Ethan, focus on the job. Personal drama doesn't belong here." The implication stung, a reminder of the glass ceiling for openly gay men in corporate America. Meanwhile, Oliver faced his own demons. An ex-wife sensing changes, probing about his new friend. "She's suspicious," he confided over late-night calls. "Thinks I'm hiding something." The pressure built, each secret meeting laced with guilt. Yet, amid the turmoil, moments of tenderness emerged. A shared laugh over a botched dinner I attempted, his gentle teasing melting my reservations. Internally, I wrestled. This feels right, but at what cost? Society's gaze felt omnipresent, judging our budding bond as controversial, a clash of classes and orientations. As file closed on another week, the tremble in our hearts grew louder, demanding answers we weren't ready to give. The internal war raged fiercer now, every glance from Oliver igniting a firestorm of doubt and desire that consumed my thoughts. I'd lie awake, replaying our conversations, dissecting his words for hidden meanings. Is he truly ready to upend his life for this? For me? Or am I just a fleeting escape from his regrets? The questions looped endlessly, a dramatic monologue in my mind that left me exhausted yet alive in ways I'd forgotten possible. Our next ride, a spontaneous drive to the Jersey Shore, pushed boundaries further. Waves crashed against the shore as we walked barefoot, the salt air a temporary balm. But tension simmered. "Jamie asked about you," Oliver said suddenly, his voice laced with unease. "Wanted to know why Dad's smiling more." My heart swelled, then plummeted. A child in the mix complicated everything, stirring societal debates about non-traditional families. Inside, I agonized. Am I selfish for wanting this? For pulling him into a world where love like ours invites scrutiny, custody threats, public disdain? The confession spilled from him then, raw and unfiltered. "I've never admitted this to anyone, but I think I'm bi, or gay. Hell, I don't know labels." His fists clenched, eyes on the horizon. Growing up, my dad drilled it in be a man, provide, conform. So I did. Married Sarah because it was expected. Tears glistened, and I reached for him, our embrace tentative under the open sky. But conflict brewed within me too. Memories of Mark's betrayal, how he'd chosen family approval over us. "What if you do the same?" I whispered, voice breaking. He pulled back, hurt flashing. "You think I'm that weak?" The argument exploded, voices rising over the roar of the sea. "You're projecting your past onto me," he accused. "Not everyone's going to bail when it gets hard." I countered, "And not everyone's ready to face the firestorm. Your world isn't mine. Blue-collar towns don't wave pride flags." The words hung bitter, exposing the class divide that fueled our drama. He stormed ahead, leaving me to chase after, heart hammering with regret. Why push? Because fear clawed at me. Losing him would shatter the fragile hope I'd rebuilt. Reconciliation came slowly, in a seaside diner where we dissected our fears. "Society pits us against each other," he mused, stirring sugar into tea. "Makes love feel like a battlefield. I nodded, sharing stories of workplace discrimination. Promotions bypassed, jokes masked as banter. He countered with tales from his routes. Slurs hurled by customers, assumptions about his type. The vulnerability deepened our bond, but external pressures mounted. His ex, Sarah, called that night, voice sharp. "Who's this Ethan?" Jamie mentioned him. Oliver downplayed it, but the lie gnawed at him, evident in his furrowed brow. Back in the city, whispers turned to confrontations. At a company event, a colleague cornered me. "Heard you're seeing some truck driver. Slumming it?" The condescension burned, a reminder of elitist biases in my circle. Internally, rage boiled. How dare they judge? But doubt crept in. Was this relationship sustainable amid such divides? Oliver faced worse. A custody hearing loomed, his lawyer warning that any lifestyle changes could sway the judge. "They'll paint me as unstable," he confided, voice trembling. The drama intensified, each choice feeling like a high-stakes gamble. Yet, in stolen moments, passion flickered. A quiet dinner at my place, where he cooked pasta from scratch, his laughter easing the knots in my chest. "You make me question everything," he admitted, eyes soft. Inside, I melted. This is worth the fight. But as we parted, his kiss on my cheek lingered like a promise laced with peril. The tremble evolved into a quake, shaking foundations we'd long taken for granted. Social conflicts escalated when we attended a pride event together, my idea to test waters. Oliver hesitated, but came, his discomfort palpable amid the crowds. "This isn't my scene," he muttered, scanning for judgment. A heated debate ensued later. "You want me to parade it?" he challenged. "Some of us can't afford the luxury." My response was sharp. Hiding perpetuates the hate. The clash left us raw, exposing generational and cultural rifts in the LGBTQ community itself. As the ride home dragged, silence heavy, I pondered, can we bridge these gaps? Or will society's fractures tear us apart? The emotional weight pressed harder, each revelation amplifying the stakes in this unfolding tragedy of the heart. The quake within me intensified to a relentless tremor, every waking moment haunted by the what-ifs that clawed at my sanity. Oliver's face invaded my dreams, his conflicted eyes pleading for understanding, while my own reflections screamed warnings. This path leads to heartbreak. You've been here before, vulnerable, exposed, only to be discarded. Yet, the pull toward him was magnetic, a force defying logic in a world that demanded conformity. Custody day arrived like a storm cloud, Oliver pacing my apartment beforehand. "Ty ask you, if they find out about us." His voice trailed, fear etching lines deeper into his face. I squeezed his hand, masking my own terror. Inside, turmoil raged. Am I the catalyst for his ruin? Society's archaic views on gay parents loomed, judges swayed by outdated prejudices. The hearing dragged, Sarah's lawyer probing his stability. When it ended in a temporary win, shared custody, relief washed over us, but victory felt pyrrhic. "They asked about my personal life," he whispered later, collapsing on the couch. I lied. Again. The deception fueled our next clash, explosive and raw. "How long can we hide?" I demanded, pacing the room. "It's eating you alive," he exploded. "Easy for you to say. Your family's distant. Mine would disown me. And Jamie? He'd be caught in the crossfire." Tears streamed as he confessed childhood traumas. A father who beat weakness out of him. A community where difference meant exile. My heart ached, mirroring my own scars. Coming out to parents who responded with silence, a void louder than rejection. "We're both broken," I admitted, pulling him close. But the embrace couldn't quell the storm. It only highlighted the chasms. External drama peaked at a family gathering, his sister's wedding in rural Pennsylvania. He invited me as a friend, the label stinging like a slap. Amid conservative relatives, whispers followed us. "Who's the city boy?" Tension simmered, erupting when an uncle cornered Oliver. "Heard you're hanging with queers now?" The slur ignited fury. Oliver defended me subtly, but later, alone in the hotel, he unraveled. "I can't do this," he sobbed. "It's too much." My world tilted. Is this the end? Panic surged. Losing him would hollow me out. I fought back tears, pleading, "We can face it together." The drive back was a gauntlet of silence, broken by halting confessions. "I love you," he blurted suddenly, knuckles white on the wheel. The words hung, electric and terrifying. Inside, joy warred with dread. Love? In this minefield? But I echoed it, voice cracking. The admission amplified everything. The societal backlash, the internal battles, the controversial choices defining us. Back home, we navigated minefields. Jamie's innocent questions about Uncle Ethan. Sarah's escalating suspicions leading to a confrontation. "Are you gay?" she demanded over the phone. Oliver's denial cracked his voice, leaving him shattered. Work added fuel. Rumors reached HR, prompting a friendly chat about professionalism. "We support diversity," they said, but the undertones screamed caution. Internally, I seethed, hypocrites preaching inclusion while enforcing norms. Oliver's world crumbled further. A job loss threat after a coworker outed him subtly. "They think I'm distracted," he lamented. The drama spiraled, each day a test of resolve. In quiet moments, though, resilience flickered. A park bench confession where he vowed to come out gradually. For us. "You make the fight worth it," he said, eyes fierce. But doubt persisted. Can love conquer systemic hate? The emotional depth plunged deeper, every choice laced with potential tragedy. As conflicts mounted, a pivotal ride to therapy, his first session unleashed floods. Post-session, he broke down. "The therapist says I've repressed for years, but owning it means risking Jamie." My support wavered under the weight. Inside, exhaustion whispered retreat. Yet, holding him, I knew. This is our battle, dramatic and unyielding. The emotional torrent reached its zenith, a cataclysmic wave crashing over every fiber of my being, leaving no room for denial. Oliver's therapy sessions peeled back layers, exposing raw nerves that bled with each revelation. I'd sit outside the office, heart pounding, imagining his confessions. Years of self-loathing, societal chains binding his truth. When he'd emerge, eyes red-rimmed, the weight transferred to me. Am I strong enough to carry this, or will it drown us both in the undertow of judgment? The breaking point came during a heated family intervention. His parents ambushing him at home, armed with Bible verses and disdain. "We raised you better," his father thundered, learning of us through Sarah's betrayal. Oliver stood firm for the first time. "This is who I am." The fallout was seismic. Disownment threats, tears, doors slamming. He arrived at my door that night, shattered. "They called it a sin," he choked out, collapsing into my arms. Inside, fury and sorrow intertwined. How dare they weaponize love? My own family's tepid acceptance paled in comparison, but the pain resonated, amplifying my resolve. Yet, the drama didn't cease. It evolved into public scrutiny. Jamie's school caught wind, playground taunts about two dads, forcing a painful talk. "Is Ethan your boyfriend?" the boy asked innocently. Oliver's affirmative, tentative yet brave, sparked joy amid chaos. But societal backlash intensified. Online trolls after a leaked photo, co-workers shunning him. "This is what coming out costs," he whispered one sleepless night. My internal monologue screamed, "Fight or flee." The love we shared felt revolutionary, a defiant stand against norms, but the toll was excruciating. A final ride, a cross-state journey to clear our heads, became the crucible. Rain pelted the windshield as arguments reignited. "You're pushing too fast," he accused. "And you're still hiding," I retorted. But midway, vulnerability won. Pulling over, he confessed, "I can't lose you, or Jamie." Tears mingled as we embraced, the tremble in our hearts sinking into a unified beat. Back home, decisions crystallized, joint custody battles, advocacy groups, a commitment to weather the storm. Months blurred into milestones. Oliver's full coming out at work, my promotion despite whispers, Jamie's gradual acceptance. Society's conflicts persisted, debates on gay rights, class divides, but our bond fortified, a testament to resilience. In quiet reflections, I marveled. From a mistaken delivery to this profound connection, defying odds. Yet, as peace settled, questions lingered. Was our love a triumph over prejudice, or merely survival in a flawed world? Is it fair to say that true love must always conquer societal barriers, or does reality demand compromise?